What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to Low Tier Racing Channel. Took a bit of a hiatus there, but we're back with the official Manufacturers Cup race here. We're actually gonna skip to round number 2, and as you can see, I went with Porsche, rocking my Canadian livery. Gotta represent, but qualified pretty well here. Qualified in second, but unfortunately, you'll see a little bit later, this did not bode all that well for me here. So Porsche, I think in this race and on this track, is going to do really well in the corners. You know, it brakes really well, it turns in really well, but ultimately that long straight leaves a bit to be desired, I should say, as these Ferraris and even on the Supra there's behind me have the superior top speed. So pulling onto the back straight, you can see the Ferrari already up my trumpets here, trying to get past. So already quite a bit of pressure, and it's not even like the second corner here. So he did eventually get up on the inside here. He may have pushed me a little wider, I don't know, but he ultimately is going to brush past and already moved to second place. So dropped down a position. Not the complete end of the world, you know, it is a long race, but there's no real strategy involved in this race. You know, they give you the medium tires, you end on the medium tires. There's like little to no tire wear on this track in this race. So as you can see, I'm able to keep up with the Ferraris in this little twisty bits in the middle section here, but I am well aware that there is a Supra behind me, and that if I don't keep up in the slipstream in this Ferrari on the back straight, it's gonna be a bit of a problem for me. It's gonna bode a lot of problems. So we're pulling up to the straight. You know, the Ferrari did get a little bit of a ways ahead of me, so I may not have been necessarily in his slipstream, but I can tell you that Supra behind me definitely was, and he was reeling me in real quick. Him and I think it was a Peugeot behind him. So, gonna be careful when it comes to this infamous chicane down here. Don't want to get punted off, so I don't go too defensive, but I think it was ultimately my undoing as the Supra slips by. He got the inside pretty easily, so given a little space as he runs wide there, and then the Peugeot comes out of nowhere and gives the Supra a little smack here. So I'm going to tuck in behind the Supra, try to get his slipstream benefit at it as much as I can, but this is where I think I fuck up, because he, you know, cuts back, maybe doesn't see me, a little contact there, sends me spinning, and, you know, it drops me back down to 8th place. So just like that, you know, the Supra, I don't blame the Supra, I think it was a bit of a racing incident. He didn't see that I was there, a little contact, and, well, there I go, drop down 6 or 5 positions. So race, like I said before, long race, not necessarily over yet, but I do have a host of problems behind me now, as I'm pretty sure I have dirty tires from going on the grass, and now I have an M6 to contend with, and ultimately I'm just trying to catch up with these guys here. But we're gonna fast forward up to lap number 7 here. I did gain a position back, so a little bit nice progress there. So trying to keep up with the group ahead. You know, there's like 4 cars ahead. 3rd place is still within reach. I'm going to try to keep up as much as I can with you guys. Like I said before, the Porsche is really good in the corners here, as the Peugeot and the M6 usually have all kinds of trouble getting out of these corners. You can see they apply way too much gas too quickly, and back end kicks out. They actually both though touch grass and come up wide, so door is opening up for me here. Try to go around the outside of the M6, not really happening, so I'm going to tuck in behind them. Try to out-patience them. I know that they're a little sketchy in places coming out of the corners, so hopefully, fingers crossed, they make a mistake. But you can see that we're pretty much all 3 of us here end to end with each other, all benefiting from the slipstream here. So, you know, like I said, the Porsche may not have the greatest top speed, but it does benefit quite nicely from these slipstreams over here. So through the chicane here, M6 again going a little wide, opening the door for me, allowing me to stay within slipstream range here. So I'm going to tuck in behind. And you know, he's not defending here either, so not much of an opportunity to go inside unless I completely dive on him, which, you know, I think they frown upon that. So I'm looking to do a deep dive bomb here. So again, it's coming up to the infield here, a lot of twists where the M6 and the Peugeot already have shown that they struggle here, as both of them get their back end kicking out here, as the Peugeot once again touches a little bit of grass, a little bit of dirty tires to contend with now. So Peugeot is getting pushed wide. BMW goes wide. They're having all sorts of trouble here, so I'm just trying to maintain consistency here, as they both leave the door open for me by going wide, and I slip by on the inside and gain 2 positions in that one corner. So feeling all kinds of joy, but then I think I was a little too pleased with myself because I make a real hash out of this exit here. Came out the back end, and the M6 and Peugeot that I just overtook slipped right on by. So momentary fuck up, but the M6 helps a brother out here by punting the Peugeot a little bit, sending him wide, allowing me to reclaim 6th place here. And once again, the M6 all kinds out of whack coming out of these corners. So I'm actually going to behind and giving a little bit of a bump draft. You know, maybe we could pull away a little bit from the Peugeot behind us. So give him a couple of bumps, take the inside, but he closes the door. We're fade really for me. I wasn't really going to go for it. So trying to work together, pull away from the Peugeot a little bit. So bump drafting him as much as I can up along these mini straights and the straight there a second ago. But again, here it's just a game of being patient and waiting for this M6 to mess up, because we've seen it before where he has kicking the back end out a lot. You know, the Peugeot is still there to contend with, so he's really not giving up on the fight. But as you can see, the M6 goes a little too wide, touches grass. He does save it, so kudos to him, but he hands me a very clear 5th place window, so I take it, slip into 5th place, and now it's just a matter of hanging on and not fucking up like I did earlier. So we're actually going to fast forward a little bit to the beginning of lap number 10 here, as the Peugeot did eventually catch up and is giving me a little bit of a bump draft, but unfortunately for me, I didn't really see him in the inside there, so as I go to turn in and meet the Peugeot, and it sends me a little wide. You know, Polyphony doesn't really give me a break because it gives me a half-second penalty for going wide there, so gonna serve my penalty, lose any chance I had of catching those 2 in front of me, and now a new group behind me is there to contend with Porsche and another M6. So because this Porsche got a much better run up, he does overtake me, and so does the M6 in back. But we're nearing the end of the race. I'm not gonna take this line down. I'm not gonna fuck around anymore. So I'm gonna turn aggressive and try to overtake them both as quickly as I can. And the Porsche goes a little wide there and tries to come back in, but ends up hitting me, and I think that upset him a little bit. Called me dirty at the end of this race. I don't see how, but whatever. So, gonna tuck in behind this other slipstream of the M6 here, try to pull away from the Porsche and to do a very aggressive dive bomb there. But he did leave the inside open for me, so I take it and easily take back 2 positions. That's a yellow flag ahead, but nothing that I can take advantage of. So ultimately not able to catch up with my 2 friends up ahead and finish a very disappointing 7th after qualifying 2nd. So we're gonna jump right into the second race here. I didn't qualify as well as I did in the previous race, qualified 8th, but right off the bat, we already have a big incident here as the Porsche behind me, I don't know if he just forgets to brake, but tries to dive on that corner and ultimately crashes into me. We're gonna go into his point of view here. So right when the race starts, you can see I don't think he even touches the brake until well past the 50 mark. And well, unfortunately for me, I was in his warpath there as he ends up hitting me and getting a little front tire damage. So an absolute fantastic start to the race. You know, not even one corner in, damage to the front tire. Gonna have a real hard time catching up with the cars ahead of me. But we're switching to the third person point of view as the Porsche behind me also gives me a little nudge there. I don't think that was a dirty move. I just think that I cut in a little too aggressively and kind of interrupted his racing line. So nothing against him, but my car is all kinds of damage right at the beginning of the race. And I'm thinking, well, this can't end well, but alas, because of the Porsche's, I think, superior handling in this infield here, able to stay with the Renault and the M6 ahead. And that's really all I wanted to do, is to keep up with the group ahead and try to stay in their slipstream and just wait for them to make a mistake or open up an opportunity for me. So as we're coming up to the back straight, I'm well within range of this Renault, so I'm gonna benefit from the slipstream here and going to take as much advantage of it as I can. So you can see, give him a nice little bump draft so he can keep up with the M6 ahead, but I'm gonna go on the outside because he pretty much closed off the inside there. I'm gonna try to do an old switcheroo where I cut back on the inside here, which doesn't really work out for me at all. But the Renault does run a little wide there, slowing down ever so slightly. and have a much better run up than he did. So back within slipstream range. Not close enough to give him a bump drop, but gonna try to take the inside here. He doesn't really defend it. He ends up going a little wide, and I'm able to slip past into 7th place. So not ideal, but not a bad start nonetheless. But lap number 3 here, right behind this group here, the M6 and the Ferrari. M6 going a little wide. I think this is the same guy in the last lap, so I already know that he has all kinds of trouble getting out of these corners, but he leaves once again the inside open for me. I dive bomb a little bit, but no contact, so I'm going to say it's clean and move up yet another position. So race pretty stagnant at that point, so we're going to skip ahead to lap number 6. So right behind the Ferrari, who made a real mess of this corner exit and entry. So gonna pull up right behind him, get that slipstream. Give him a little bump there. Try to take the inside. There's nothing really going on there, but I think he thought the threat was there and may have messed up his corner because he goes out very wide. I'm able to maintain my inside line and scoot on by him. I shouldn't say scoot, he's still temporarily right there, but he backs off, gives me that corner, so moved up all the way to 5th. So started off badly, but I'm in 5th place, so, and this lobby was a higher rated lobby. There was a lot more points available for me. I think finishing 8th or whatever in that last race got me like 60 points. A top 5 finish here would net me about 80 something points, so happy with that. So now it's all about maintaining my position, and if I can, catch up to the group ahead. So we're gonna skip ahead once again because of a stagnant race to lap number 9. I don't know if we made any progress catching up to the Ferrari in front, but we definitely put a little gap between us and the group behind. So nice progress being made here, but I don't think there's gonna be enough in it to catch the Ferrari, and I make a real hash of it, trying to drive way too hard, go up wide, and get hit with the half-second penalty. So next lap, I did end up gaining a little bit on the Ferrari, but any momentum, any progress that I had, gonna be eliminated because of that half-second penalty. So that just goes to show that you get a little aggressive, get a little overexcited, you end up really costing yourself in the long run. So overdriving the car really doesn't benefit anyone. So luckily for me, didn't really serve too much of an issue as I was able to hold 5th place. You know, the M6 did eventually catch up a little bit, and I did end up catching up to the Ferrari ahead of me again. So I feel like if I didn't have that penalty, if I had maybe 1 or 2 laps, I may have been in contention of getting 4th place, but alas, if ifs and buts were candies and nuts. So didn't end up catching him, but I'm gonna take home a solid 5th place, score about 85 points I think, and then at the time of this recording that put me about 2nd place in Ontario in the GT2 league, so quite happy with that. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you liked the race, hope you liked the video, and I'll catch you guys next time for round 3. Peace out.